The FBI found more classified documents at President Joe Biden's home last week in a search which lasted for about 13 hours. The president says he has no regrets over the document possession. For more on this, I'm joined by former White House Chief of Staff Mick Mulvaney. Mick Mulvaney, thanks so much for your time. This is a slow-burning issue. It seems that there's a lot in the media criticising Joe Biden, but what effect is it having on him thus far?
It is starting to wear on him a little bit. You can tell he's getting shorter with the press. He's snapping at people. Look, there's a rule of thumb in our business, Laura, which is that if you're going to have a problem, it's not a scandal. If you're going to have a problem, have it on a Friday afternoon, get it over in 24 hours and move on to the next thing. This has been a slow drip now. This is the third or fourth separate set of documents that they have found. And it's that drip, drip, drip of information that is really starting to erode not only the president's sort of confidence, but his staff operations as well. It doesn't surprise me, for example, that he just changed chiefs of staff today for the first time right in the middle of this. This is very, very hard to deal with, and he probably wanted to get some new blood in to help deal with the fallout.
So as a former Chief of Staff, does it help to have new personnel in that role to try and pivot on a scandal like this, if you can call it a scandal?
It does. I think people don't understand exactly how wearing the job can be as the chief of staff, especially when you're going through scandals. We had been through impeachment, and I was working 16 hours a day for 6 or 7 months, and then you go right into COVID, and you just don't have the energy to do it. So it doesn't surprise me that they make the change now. They need to. They were attacked on the weekend television news shows here by the members of their own party, saying what an embarrassment this was, what a problem it was, whether or not it spoke to his leadership ability. So yeah, it's not just the right giving President Biden a hard time right now. It's his own party, and that's usually a really bad sign in Washington, D.C.
Yeah, that's right. And the late Friday afternoon news, we usually call it here taking out the trash day. It's probably the same in America. I'm really interested in this story, and it's kind of been bubbling away for some time in the US about the division between whether to help Ukraine, throw billions and billions of more in perpetuity to help them fight or stave off Russia or not. Now, there is more aid going to Ukraine, but there's a bit of drama among Republicans. Explain that to us.
There is, and it's got a bunch of different sort of sources. There's some Republicans who just don't like spending money overseas generally. There's other Republicans, and these are the ones sort of coming to the forefront now, saying, why are we spending money if the Europeans are not? Congress is starting to focus more and more attention on the fact that many European countries have committed spending and weapons, but haven't sent them yet. I mean, the war now is almost a year old. So people are starting to ask questions as to, is America doing this by themselves? Are the Americans, the British doing it by themselves? And are the Aussies are doing a little bit? You folks are as far away of this as anybody. And they're starting to ask the questions, if the Germans aren't stepping up, if the Germans are dragging their feet. Keep in mind, the Germans weren't just objecting to sending German tanks into Ukraine. They were objecting to sending German-made tanks that were owned by Poland. And it's starting to raise questions in the United States Congress. So it's one of the fallouts of the midterm elections. Do I think we'll cut off aid anytime soon? No. But do I think the scrutiny will go up dramatically? Yes, I do. It's one of the impacts of the midterm election.